Hello and welcome back to my channel, guys, and as you see we're gonna be taking a look at Unreal Engine 5 experience. Now this, as you might remember, was launched for PlayStation 5 only. There was a Matrix demo with a city, and you could walk around and see the Unreal Engine 5 in real time, and you couldn't really do it on a PC up until the point that Epic Games actually released Unreal Engine 5 and the city itself on Epic Store. Now, what it means for us is very simple. Create the under samples. I've actually got myself all of this kit because I just cannot wait to take a look at the city sample and see how it runs. And obviously we're going to be using a MSI just to see how 1080 Ti is actually handling Unreal Engine 5, considering there's no RTX cores, there's no DLSS support, there's nothing in general, and it's full HD, because I did try to launch it in 4K and it took a lot of time, and to be honest, did I get any frames? The answer is yes. I do believe the frames I was getting I could count on my fingers, so I downscaled everything, my display resolution to full HD, and I think we're just gonna launch the Unreal 5 engine itself, load up this level and see how it runs and how it looks. And you need to be a little bit mindful when it comes to running this, because if you start this sample with MSI hooked in as running in the background, it's gonna crash it, so it doesn't really work too well. Maybe my hook is too aggressive for it, so end of the day, that's how it is. On the other side, this is an Unreal Engine editor, so it's not exactly the real thing. It's more like a preview, but it gives a pretty good idea what we're actually gonna have. So end of the day, I'm pretty happy. So let's just go. No, we don't need assets. We need levels. Come on, open up my level. We're gonna go for the big city level, which is the one that we saw on PlayStation 5, and we're gonna open it up. Now, it's gonna take a while to load. First of all, I am recording at the same time. Second of all, it's a very huge file, and as you can see, the GPU will be taking the biggest hit out of all of this, because it literally needs to do something it was never really meant to do, and this is dealing with all those textures, all those nanites, all the lightning and everything else. It's gonna take a hit. However, as you can see, it's slowly building up the world, so I can already tell you this is not exactly the the thing this GPU was built for when it was released. I don't think the persons who actually made it figured out that this is it, this is the perfect thing. Now what we're gonna do, this is a preview, right? So you can kind of see, and I'm pretty sure there should be some buildings that are still not loaded in. We're gonna load in the actual level. We're gonna per se play it. Once we are in and playing, we're gonna launch MSI. If it hooks in later when the editor is running, I did not observe any crashes, but oh well, end of the day, it is what it is. If you are trying the same steps as I'm currently, you kind of need to understand that unless you have very, very beefy card, at least a 2080, right, it's gonna take a long time to load. And I've seen people instantly jumping on this topic with 3090, and it looks amazing and it runs fantastic. But what can we people do that do not have a 2080, you know what I mean, or 3080 or 3090 or 4000 cards that are apparently coming out as Nvidia promised? We can just press play and hope that all this compiles in a timely fashion and actually launches. Now for me, it's not exactly to prove the point that PC gaming is better at any point, right? I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that we have consoles now, specifically a PlayStation 5, who's able to utilize an Unreal Engine 5 that is opening the graphical fidelity I've been waiting for all these years. It's not exactly photorealistic, however, in some points you could argue that it is, but I think we're getting there, we are getting there. And this is the very beginning of the level, so we're gonna jump down. Oof, you can see how it's struggling to process everything at the same time. So I'm gonna take away the world partition here. And oh, so the nav mesh needs to be rebuilt. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but you know, whatever. So here we are. Now, we can walk around, we can just fly. So fly is a free cam basically. And I'm not sure if this is full HD because I was getting exactly the same things on honestly 4K. And I think it just crashed a car inadvertently. And a second one. Oh god, look at this damage. It's so nice. It's real time damage by the way as well. And can we flip a car with this? Let's bump into one. Nothing happens. Great. Okay, let's just go for the walk. Oh, it's the character itself. And let's launch the MSI. See what we will be getting here. Kinda hoping for MSI to hook in nicely. And currently we're getting 40-ish frames. So this is within the actual live editor itself. Now, it should be full HD. At least by the display resolution. But I do not know if the editor itself is rendering this in full HD, because for full HD this is a bit too low when it comes to frames. And the reason I'm saying that is based on one of the YouTube videos I've seen, which was a guy doing the same review like I'm doing now. He was lucky enough to get a Matrix demo pre-packed by the dev itself, which is roughly 40 gigs. All this shebang is over 110 gigs because you need Unreal Editor and you need the level itself. Unreal Editor is about 20 gigs. The big city is about 93, 95. So you're looking at roughly 110 on the disk. So he was running the cut down version, basically the exe install. You install and you just like kind of play it like a game, give or take. And with the AMD 6600, I think, he was getting roughly the same, and that's an RDNA 2 card. And as per stats, let's say core clock and memory clock, the 1080 Ti outperforms that card. However, in terms of RDNA 2, which obviously is AMD stuff and it's being used, I think, in PlayStation as well. I'm not a console guy, so don't hold my word for it. He was getting roughly the same stuff, so you know, it's quite interesting. Is it the editor or it's just the engine itself, and I'm just expecting too much? End of the day, what I really wanted to do is just to walk around and see this for myself. I could go and pester someone with PlayStation 5, you know, to let me download things and take a look at them. At the same time, you know, it's kind of nice to just see all this by yourself. So, to be fair, currently the GPU is not doing too much in my opinion. So the load is roughly 27-28%, so it's not exactly constantly packed out. We are using 9.7 gigabytes of video memory out of 11, so that is, I would say, good. CPU is pretty much pegging out, to be fair, not gonna lie. So we are on high 90s, and it is a 6-core CPU, no hyper threading, and we are using 11 gigs, well, 10 for now. Technically still 11 gigs of system RAM, getting roughly 40-ish, well, I would say low 30, I would say, or high 30 frames for this. So it's not exactly that bad, and considering that this was not really available for the PC, nor this is a game developing PC, I must say, I would say this is pretty good. Now my question is, if we run into the car, will the car brake, or what's gonna happen? Not really. Okay, can we drive? I think there's I need to download the vehicle pack so I can access the vehicles, or I can just steal a vehicle? I don't remember from the demo, but yeah, I just wanted to see all this by myself, because at the same time, even though we're getting 40 frames, right? Look at all this reflection, like all of this building, how it looks. It is so cool. You might have seen the GTA 6 ultra realistic mods, and basically It kind of looks very similar to this, I must say. Oh, well, how do we turn? Oh, I figured it out. The camera is a bit odd. 30-ish frames. 26, 23. So yeah, obviously we're not really having the best experience right now, but I wasn't expecting high frames, if that makes sense, because again, this is completely something that the GPU probably simply does not understand how to process it, really. Or it might simply just lack the processing power for this, because again, we're talking about nearly a decade of technologies going in and out, so the editor itself and the level, everything of this is running off from NVMe drive, so I'm pretty sure we are not exactly missing out on transfer speeds when it comes to loading the level and stuff like that. I do believe it's sheer processing power issue. Also, again, I do not know if we're 4K as per editor, or it's actually reading off from my display adapter and saying, oh, so we are on 1080p. I have no idea, right? So what I'm gonna do, to be fair, this is just to give you guys a little bit of an intro. I'm gonna go and try to see if I can get this file to run this as a game per se, rather than, you know, an actual Unreal 5 editor, because I'm pretty sure running the editor that is running the file live is probably taxing out my system more than I would like to admit. But still, this is pretty cool. Obviously, this means if we're gonna have new games coming out with this, and I know that we will have new games using Unreal Engine 5, then for PCs, probably the PC master race will have to step up with chip production and actually make stuff. So that is a bit, I wouldn't say worrying, but it's just it just is how it is, you know. It's progress. But so far, all this, I really like it. I like how it's made, how it looks. I was looking at the first demo and I was like, God damn, this is the future of the gaming. Imagine Unreal Engine 5 and you just play Spider-Man. Like, you could clearly just see yourself on reflection. I mean, it's completely new world. Some might argue we don't really need one-to-one game world when we're trying to escape the real world, but you know, I would say for Matrix, this kind of really proves the point. You know, that the world you're looking at is almost like your own. I mean, it really works out for Matrix, I would say, you know? It really does. Okay, my question is, can I walk off from the roof? Let's see. Nope, you cannot spawn on a roof. It spawns in the nearest location of the roof. Still, okay, I'm off to see if I can get a file of the actual demo, because there's a lot of links for it, at least official links. I'll see if I can grab one of those and it works. If it works, at this point you will see that video continues and I'm gonna greet you again within the game per se. If not, this was exactly what I wanted you guys to know. If you want to check it out for yourself, you have a PC or you have PlayStation 5 and you were not in a loop about all this happening, it's free. First of all, it's free on Epic Store. The city itself is free as well. Prepare about 150 gigs of free disk drive space to get all this wonder on. And that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time, if there's no continuation with the gaming stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you either right now or on the next video. Well, to be fair, I managed, and here we are with already unpacked a just full aka game demo that you can actually play. So as you can see, we're no longer in editor. This is a executable file which you basically run directly. It does contain the city pack and you basically just launch it. It kind of just gets you straight into the game, so to say. So what do we see here is exactly the same things we saw in editor, but minus the editor logs. Basically there's no window round. Performance is well, pretty shabby, to be fair. We're looking at like sub 30. I do believe it's due to all of these reflections and whatnot, and obviously the Unreal Engine 5 itself. Now the one thing I did notice is there is no options to change graphical settings. Like I cannot change shadows or check the resolution, so I'm kind of hoping really that it's going from full HD, like 1080p, rather than trying to run it in 4K. I wouldn't I would really want to hope and dream that, you know, it's actually going on 4K, and in 4K with 1080 Ti you're getting 30 frames, but I'm pretty sure it's not the case. Anything like that, apart from all this, to be fair, yeah, I mean, something that is not really meant for Windows and running on Windows with this hardware is pretty cool. At the same time, I had to read around to find the link. I do have the file, so whoever is interested, let me know. I can actually share it with you. It's very simple. It's roughly 17 gigabytes, and I'm pretty sure I can find a way to get it over to you guys. But end of the day, what I would say is even 3090 apparently in 4K is getting roughly 30 to 40 frames, and people are kind of complaining that it's not optimized and stuff like this. So I kind of want to chime in on this. First off, it's not exactly for PCs, okay, like as per se. It's been trialed, optimized and done for console, specifically for PlayStation 5, for the simple reason there's a direct storage ability that basically, when it comes to loading in assets or accessing files, it will be much faster than our conventional things. Nevertheless, even if you have an NVMe drive like I do, it's not gonna help, okay? It's basically the protocol itself, how the software is being handled, how the data is being accessed, how the data buffer is being used in terms of what you are getting and how it's being stored. I wouldn't say it's the same as Intel Optane memory, but if you wanna look at something, I would say that is the next closest thing to it. So end of the day, if we look at some things here, it's basically working. We can see stuff. It looks pretty damn amazing. If game would be, I don't know, very fast-paced shooter, probably 30 frames will not cut it. If it's more like Uncharted version of exploration, climbing and some combat elements, I do believe you could possibly get away with it. If you can tweak some graphical settings, I'm pretty sure you are able to get away with a bit more. Now, when it comes to graphical settings, I did notice some things in the editor that I did not mention in the first part of this video. So I think we're gonna just jump back in there at the end. I'm gonna show you, just cycle through some things you can play around. It's not exactly give you any value in terms of what, how and why, but oh my god, you can see inside the windows. Holy shit, this is nice. So apparently this is done in real time. Like, either someone made all these rooms that we can look through the windows, or it's procedurally generated. I'm not entirely sure. They kind of look the same, to be fair, but end of the day, the map itself is pretty huge, as you can see, and we saw it already. Here's the highway going through all these moving vehicles, moving NPCs. All this is gonna strain out your GPU, because all of this needs to be calculated, portrayed, correct colors, correct geometry, correct trajectory, everything, reflections. This is a lot, okay? So I do believe we're gonna have hardware that is optimized or created for the simple reason, or the single reason, of actually running Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine 5 certified or compatible. that will, you know, come to fruition, because end of the day, even DLSS, it took quite a while to be adapted and actually all the kinks were worked out. The first DLSS version that came out actually did more harm than good, but the second version that is out, I do believe now we are on what, the third revision, it's actually amazing. It saves the day literally anywhere, even including the Cyberpunk. With a 3060 card, you enable DLSS, you're golden. And 3060 is by no means a powerful card when it comes to it. So, you know, of course we can argue all day long about the chipsets and, you know, what are the benefits and what are the pros and cons of them, and, you know, how you can squeeze out more frames and overclocking or whatnot. But end of the day, I would just like to appreciate the fact that there are people out there that are still interested in actually providing some very good attempts of making things like these happen, you know, because this is actual progress. I do believe that obviously if you are a graphical designer or you actually work in 3D applications like rendering or AutoCAD or anything like this, you will appreciate technology like this making your life easier to make things, to import things, share them, and, you know, earn money or help people out with the project. For the gamers, yeah, this is, I would say, this is almost photorealistic. I mean, the resolution you can get, and if your PC is able to run it, then, you know, it's gonna be fantastic, because even with the low frame rate, which is, you know, no surprise end of the day really, I mean, I can really say that all of this lighting on the objects themselves, they're pretty solid. Like you can clearly see that. Even this bin, as a simple asset and a bin, it does look used. There is some scuff marks on it. It actually looks, you know, good. In fact, you know, it's just these little, I would say, quality of life improvements end of the day. So I cannot really say that, you know, oh my god, this is so useless, oh, just for consoles. I think this is gonna gain much higher traction once we actually get a bit more of, you know, GPUs and things like that. So yeah, end of the day, driving on 22 frames is not exactly the thing you want to be doing in your life. However, this is literally as playing Cyberpunk on 4K ultra settings, so if you can do that, you can easily have fun in this game as well. Or, you know, the tech demo, so to say. Again, the tech demo is meant for PlayStation 5, and it does require some additional hardware or optimization, or at least operating system that's able to crunch the numbers faster than my old GPU and CPU, but still we're talking all this world, all these assets loading in, looking beautiful, no distortion, no bugs yet. Well, the physics engine is interesting as well. I wouldn't say it's bad. Yeah, I found a bug. You can't do a burnout, the car just moves and the wheels are not spinning. Anyway, it's not really a bug, it's a feature. So yeah, end of the day, this is what I wanted to show. Now let's quickly jump back to the editor, and I'm gonna show you just like 3 little things, literally just 3 tiny things that you will probably find out by yourself, but since I found it, I want to claim the, you know, put dibs on it, that I did it, you know, just the thing I do, which is very annoying at the extent. Anyway, let's head over to the editor, and we can also compare the frame rate, see what's going on. So here we are back in the editor. I did actually run MSI for this, and to be fair, it's giving me a bit more frames than I thought I'm gonna be getting, which is not a bad thing. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you guys, and I know this is pretty much a developer tool, is you can select to see how the world is built, or basically how it's being made out of. So it's kind of interesting how all the assets in the game itself, like the vehicles specifically, how they're being built from ground up. On this mode, you disable all the bling, so as you can see, there's no more reflections, there's nothing here. So this actually gives the best frame rate possible. It's roughly 50-ish. So instead of having 20 or 30, well, there's some hiccups here and there. It's still getting roughly, I would say, it can go up to 50, right? It's not a guaranteed 50, not by a long shot. Next interesting thing is this, which basically kind of makes the model lose its texture. So we no longer have the red dress. As you can see, the road has lost its texture as well, and some of the assets on the sidewalk, including the NPC models. You can see that they are literally almost the same. So you know, we have some different hairstyles, but you can understand. So the texture of the cloth is gone, and I think this one was the most interesting one and the most taxing one. It's kind of like the color temperature of the city. I'm not entirely sure what this gives in terms of you know, the information for the devs, or what this mode does. Maybe it's just to maybe see how the assets are interacting with the environment in terms of collision. You know, just maybe see how they are, if they're spread out evenly. Maybe it's for the level designers to just kind of have a bit. Maybe they see the world like this. You know, we will never know. End of the day, no one really truly knows. So at this point, it's pretty much all that I really wanted to show you guys. Now, let's see if I can actually make MSI appear, and will it crash it, because it kind of loves to crash stuff a lot. Okay, so it didn't crash for now. So we're gonna go down, and so as you can see that we're getting more frames, obviously, because there's no more reflections and stuff like that. So, and we are actually using 15 gigs of RAM. So obviously, if you're into all of this designing stuff, and you're probably gonna be rocking at least like 32 minimum. I do believe 64 is like the industry standard for heavy tasks and rendering, specifically if you're working with a scale this big, like a whole city block or something. You need somewhere to store all that information. Apart from that, yeah, you know, I think we kind of covered the majority of the topic, which in general was, I'm very happy that this demo is now available on a PC. If you want to actually get the demo itself as a file, because honestly that was a pretty big endeavor. It's not as straightforward as it was, as I thought it's gonna be, because the dev removed some of the links, or the links expired. We're talking literally 2 days ago, and there are some services available. Some of them are very slow, some of them are just like, you know, they host for money, or you need money to access the hosting service. If you don't want to wait in a queue, or your download gets interrupted, you still have to wait back in the queue, or at least an hour. If you want to get a glimpse of this demo, let me know on my business email in the channel description. I'll see what I can do for you. I do believe it's going to be something to do with a Google Drive, where I can share it for the wider audience if that's required. And we can all just, you know, kind of benefit from it. If you want to put your system to the test, or you just want to fly around, just take a look, and maybe run MSI if you manage the hook a bit, not aggressive as I do, and it might actually give you some peace of mind, like, you know, I can run it, or I cannot run it, or, you know, anything like that. So, and end of the day, I think it's pretty okay. Let's see, can we run into the car and crash it? That's absolutely unrelated to our questions, but no, not really. But somehow flying with camera off does crash the car. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to show you guys. So I don't know. Tell me what you think about this. Oh, this almost looks like GTA at this point. Tell me what your thoughts are on Unreal Engine 5 for the gaming, or for anything else related, and let's have a conversation going. You know, this is I wouldn't say this is a brand new hot thing, but I think it might have some benefits in the future. And yeah, maybe you're gonna not crash in the cars like I'm doing, because, you know, I'm really good at that. I'm really good at crashing into things. My favorite pastime, actually. activity. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys, and as always, I do appreciate that you are actually spending your time watching all of this. I'm not gonna ask for like or subscribe, but if you have an urge to do it, who am I to stop you? Anyway, at this point, I'm gonna tell you all, have a good evening, good day, good weekend, or whenever this video comes out, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay classic.